Hey guys, before I begin, just want to say I'll be streaming every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. GMT, so do join me to chat and have fun, and I'll be more than happy to talk about almost anything, doesn't really have to be games related. And yeah, most importantly, do remember to like and subscribe if you like my contents. Hey guys, so recently, probably about 2 weeks ago, I posted a poll on YouTube to ask which build would the viewers like to see if I would do a 0 to hero video, and the 0 to hero video is somewhat similar to Matthew videos. If you know who is he, is basically just doing a fresh character from the start all the way until a high budget version, like literally from scratch. Okay, so here it is. This is the episode 0 of the COC Ice Spear Assassin, and some of you might be wondering why is it called episode 0. Okay, it's because this is the planning phase. I took a really long time to plan it out. Stuff like what a fresh new character should do, leveling guides, and many other stuffs. There are lots of trial runs, testings, and that's why I have been occupied for so long. Not to mention that I have works to do also, and there are upcoming events to plan as well, like Christmas. I think most of you should have a really good Christmas day, right? Okay, so before I showcase the POE and explain a little bit on it, I just want to do a little recap on the COC mechanics. I know I've done this in the previous video, so if you truly understand how it works already, you can just skip that portion, okay? And furthermore, I will go through some tips for a fresh character and also plans on how I intend to farm with this new character. Okay, COC mechanics. So basically, the COC skill gem and cosplay melees both have a cooldown on how many times they can trigger the skill each second or each time, and they cannot be triggered every single time you do a critical strike, okay? Otherwise, like I mentioned over there, it will be too overpowered. There is a limit to how much you can cast your spell on a critical strike. Okay, so basically it interacts with increased cooldown recovery rate, ICDR or ICRS, whatever you want to call it. And the more cooldown recovery rate you have, the more you are able to trigger your skill on each critical strike. Okay, so the minimum cooldown recovery rate for you to trigger more of your skill is 14%. Okay, anything below that is as good as just triggering as per normal. Like even if you have 13%, 12%, it doesn't do any difference because 14% is the threshold where it makes a difference. Okay, so another thing to take note is that Benchcraft ICDR does not work on cast on crit or cosplay melees. Okay, and also going over the maximum trigger rate will mean that your attack are landing first before the cooldown of the skill expires. So let's say if you are triggering faster than what is intended, your skills have not cooled down yet, and you will kind of like miss the opportunity or that single time frame where your spell skill is supposed to release. Okay, so yeah, as you can see from the table, this red frame table, I've done out the comparison between the cooldown recovery speed, max triggers per second, and the optimum APS, which is your attack per second. Okay, so for a league start, it's definitely 0%. You're not gonna get your hands on a 14% cooldown recovery speed anytime soon because it only drops from, I think it's Crusader or Shaper, either one of them or both of them, I can't remember exactly. Okay, so do take note of the table. And how to reach 52%, it's very simple. Basically, you need an awakened cast on crit gem plus one or more cooldown recovery belt or boots, I think. Yeah, either belt or boots. So that will allow you to reach 52%, which is very awesome because it's going to increase your damage by a lot. Okay, you don't really need to reach the exact APS, but just slightly around there will allow you to perform just fine. Okay, so example, let's say if you have a 0% cooldown recovery speed, your max trigger is 6.6, which means your APS should be 6.06, right? Please guys, you don't really need to reach until exactly 6.06. Okay, even like 6.01 or less than that, or just slightly over, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. So stuff like 6.12, I think it's fine also. Yeah, it doesn't really have to be exactly the same. That is just getting 6.06 is just kind of ridiculous. So don't fret on it too much. And of course, if you are dual wielding a Cosplay, getting more attack speed is always fine. Just remember, 2 Cosplay with 0% cooldown recovery, you can just go as high as 12.12 APS. It's very fine. It's even hard to even reach 12.12 if you are dual wielding. Okay, next is 10 tips for a fresh new character, and this not only implies for the current build that I am working on now. Do remember that this can be anything, okay? Any character. This is like one of the most general, basic, universal thing that I think everybody should know. Yes, of course there will be more stuffs, but I'm just listing down what I can remember and what I feel should always be done. Okay, so first of all, always prepare the POB ahead. Okay, know what you are progressing and where you are progressing towards. Don't last minute, like example, let's say when a league start, and on that day itself, then you go and start finding what you want to play or whatever. You're gonna waste lots of time, because on league start, right, the more time you waste means the economy is gonna take over and stuffs will get more and more expensive, especially on league start. Because a very simple reason will be there will be lesser supply in the market, right? And there will be more demand in the market because more people are finding for it. And that is why prices are always increasing on league start. Okay, so second, prepare a good loot filter according to your progression of the game. If you are going to follow my COC guide, whatever that this 0 to hero I'm doing, I actually have a loot filter for it. Otherwise, you can always just go and do loot filter for yourself, like adjustments and stuff like that, how big you want, what font you want and whatsoever, and you can always use it generically throughout all your different leagues. And third, make full use of the currency at the start. Okay, don't be afraid to use them even though the quantity is little. So let's say, example, if I have 3 Jewelers Orb only, and then you will need probably a 3 or 4 socket. Guys, come on, just use it. If you have it, means you have it. You don't have it, then suck it up. You gotta find more Jewelers Orb or just find more better equipments. Okay, especially like Alchemy Orb, Alteration Orb. Just get what you need, because the currency are there to use. If you're not going to use it, then I don't even know what you're picking it up for. Okay, so fourth, always check the NPC vendors if they sell 3 or 4 links every level until you get what is necessary. So what is necessary, which implies the leveling guide that you are using. So let's say from Act 1 to 4, you probably need 3 links, right, for your main skill and bossing skills or whatsoever. So do always check the NPC if they have the correct socket colors, because getting the exact correct ones are usually quite hard. And the rest of your equipment should always be like rare, so that you have more life resistance and stuff like that. Okay. Also, if you are using another leveling guide, make sure that it has only 2 to 3 4 links that is required to take you through the X. Okay, if it requires 4 or more 4 link items and skill gems, then the guide is probably not a league starter friendly guide. It's probably something that you already have currency to start on a new character. Okay, so it is kind of like impossible to run through the X efficiently and effectively with many 4 links. Okay, not possible. You're probably gonna take lots of time just shopping, hunting for all these specific 4 link items. And moreover, you're not gonna get a good modifiers from your 4 links if you require a lot, because it is just hard to roll all of them. Okay, and the fifth tip will be from Act 1 to 4, do not miss out any rare items. Okay, I think even identifying it is no problem, but just pick them up and sell them to the NPC, because as you progress on, right, more and more rare items will be dropped. So picking up all those items that require lesser space is really very important, right? So items that require bigger backspace means you have lesser currency. So example, like a stuff that requires 8 small boxes in your bag, refrain from picking those up. So the ideal one will be picking those with 3 small boxes in your bags, like those 3 small grids. Okay, I don't know what you call that, but stuff like dagger, what else, wand, yeah, those with 3 small box or grid. Okay, the sixth tip will be, please guys, always max out your resistance regardless of which act you are. Okay, don't care whether is it act 2, act 6, 8 or 9, always max out your resistance. That is always the top priority. Okay, it is not your life, it is always to max out your resistance, because many players have been asking me, why do I die so many times in the act? The reason is very clear, and it's always because your resistance is not capped. So let's say the maximum resistance cap is 75%, right? If you are only at about, let's say, 20% or 30% resistance, literally you are taking like 80% of the elemental damage. Okay, 80%, that's a lot. So if the monster is like dealing maybe, I don't know, 1000 damage, and your resistance is 20%, you are actually going to take 800 damage, like flat, just from one hit. Okay, so if your resistance is 75%, you are only going to take 250 damage. You can see that the difference between 800 and 250 damage is really a lot. Okay, and if your resistance is not capped, you are going to take lots of damage from your bosses. Many times, probably, you're just going to get one shot from them. Okay, the seventh tip will be start doing the chaos recipe from Act 8 onwards. So as long as the item level is within 60 to 79, you are eligible to do it. Guys, it is really not hard to do it. All it takes is a little organizing of your stash, and you should be able to build out your low budget in no time. Like, I mean low budget, not even league starter, low budget. Okay, probably even within the day or so, it's even possible to complete the low budget. Okay, so the chaos recipe is really very important at the start, because it gives you a consistent flow of currency instead of just gambling and hoping for chaos orb to drop. It gives you really very consistent currency. Okay, and it helps to build up your core requirement equipments very fast. You can always use 2 stash tab instead of 1 core stash tab that I am using on the picture right here. So this is just an example of how I actually do my own chaos recipe. I know there's actually an app or application that helps you to do chaos recipe, right? But I have actually dropped that because there are lots of bugs or problems on my end, for me. Okay, for me. So maybe for some of you it should work fine. But yeah, I'm not using it. I'm just doing it very normally like this. So what I do is, like, I just place the body armor here, and then I'll just stack it downwards accordingly. So it's the same for the helmet, the gloves, the boots, your weapon, belt, ring, amulet. You're just gonna need to stack them up nicely, and then once you have enough, like one whole set of a full body armor from the top to bottom, just sell them to the NPC unidentified. Okay, you need to sell them unidentified, and each set will give you 2 chaos orb. Yeah, it's really easy. So selling 5 sets will mean to give you 10 chaos orb. Yeah, it's really very fast. So probably the only problem that you encounter is belt, ring, and amulet, because those are harder to get. And where you can get those easier, I would say probably from Heist, Blight. Yeah, Delve, maybe. Delve. Yeah, Delve can be a good source of finding all these items as well. So don't hesitate to do them at league start. Okay, they are very, very good stuff. Okay, number 8. Always look out for your items once you start working on your chaos recipe, because some items might quickly rise in price because of the meta or hype. Okay, people might just say, hey, this is a super good build. Like suddenly, I don't know, maybe they will say COC, Ice Nova or Ice. Okay, let's just say Ice Nova. Ice Nova probably has an increase of 200% damage. Example, and then it becomes a meta skill, and somehow it's gonna affect your build. Okay, even though you are like the innocent party that is not involved in that, but you are kind of like the victim. So in the end, right, you are still gonna get affected by it, and the price will rise very, very fast if you do not get your hands on it quickly. So what I suggest is just do a live search in the trade website, so you can always refer to it if it meets your budget. So let's say if I need to buy a Cosplay at like maybe, let's say 15 chaos. Okay, so when you hear the sound on the live search, right, you can always refer back. If it's 15 chaos and you have the currency, just go ahead and buy it. Don't need to wait. Okay, the more you wait, right, the more the price is going to increase. You can probably on the first day buy it for 15 chaos, but if you do not buy it, right, on the second or third day, it might even rise until 40 chaos on one exalt. Okay, so a very good example was when I am playing my Karen Golem on my Necromancer. Some of you might know, some of you might not know. Primordial Might is actually one of the most annoying item at the start because it is very rare, it is hard to find, and it's hard to get. Okay, supply is always very low at the start, and people always sell them for freaking expensive prices. I don't know why, even though to me it's like one of the most useless primordial jewels among all of the three. Okay, yeah, so at league start, right, you can probably buy the Primordial Might for like 30 chaos, and for some reason the next day or the following day it already rise until 1 exalt or 100 plus chaos. Yeah, it's quite ridiculous in some way. Okay, so number 9 tip, do not be so obsessed with a tabula rasa. Okay, guys, you do not need a tabula rasa to start playing your build. Yes, getting a 6 link is a big difference, but usually I do not buy a tabula because it gives no stats at all. Those small little stats that you can get from your body armor, right, like let's say armor, energy, shield, evasion, and all the other modifiers on the body armor, like maximum life, maximum energy, shield, it makes a lot of difference. Okay, so always getting a corrupted 6 link with the correct socket color is definitely better than a tabula rasa, and it's worth paying slightly more chaos op for it. Okay, even if you have to pay like 10 more chaos op, I think it's still worth it. Okay, otherwise just go with a 5 link first. A 5 link once you complete Act 10 is really not hard to get. Okay, when you go through many other contents of the game, like let's say Harvest is a good example, or what else does it I can't remember. There's another way of getting a 5 link easily. It's always generally quite easy to get a 5 link, so you can always use a 5 link first. This game is not all about 6 link at the start. Okay, and number 10, please, you do not need to kill every single monster through the X. There is no requirement for you to do that. The bosses that still will spawn and stuff like that, even though you do not clear, even though you never even hit a single monster, you will still meet the boss. Okay, so just run through. Stop to kill only if you see like packs of monsters, let's say packs of magic monsters or rare monsters. Yeah, kill them because they grant quite a considerably good amount of EXP. And you should roughly complete Act 1 to Act 10 in about estimated 7 hours as a casual player. Yeah, we are not, I mean, from a casual player perspective, right, we are not like some racer or something like that, so I don't expect you to complete in like 4 hours. Okay, it's crazy. Take your time, enjoy the process of the game, and just play as normally. Do whatever necessary shopping that you need throughout the acts, but try to do it efficiently. Like, don't waste too much time on it, because eventually when you go through the acts, right, you change your equipments along the way, because the higher you go, the more you progress, the better the modifiers on your armors are. That includes resistance, because you will always need to change it and cap your resistance at 75%. Okay, so my plan to farm this character, first of all, is to complete the Atlas. Just kill the Conquerors and Cyrus along the way. I think this is very normal. And then the main aim is to farm Shaper and Shaper Guardians, okay? I will do a better statistic progression video once I reach that stage. Probably once I'm level 90 and I am low budget. And is it strong enough? Honestly, I don't know myself. This is my first time attempting. But based on the POB, I see it is more than sufficient. But you know, sometimes when you do the actual thing is different. So I really gotta see how it goes. Like, I think the form might be very, very hard, even on white. But yeah, I really have to see how it goes. Okay. And third, there will be no region target farming, which means I'm not going to farm Breach, Legion, Harvest, Essence, whatever. I'm not going to do this kind of target farming. And this progression will be from a league start to a low budget, to a high budget. And as of now, I only have a low budget version of this COC Ice Spear build. I do not have the high budget yet, so I will probably have another video of the high budget POB once it's planned out, and once I probably have currency, maybe not 50x, maybe about less than that. I'm halfway through the progression, I can start planning it already. Okay guys, so this is the POB. This is how it looks like. There is lots of skill tree, different skill tree. From Act 1 all the way until Act 10, it literally kind of like shows you how you should progress. Can I do a page down? No, sorry. So yeah, this is roughly how it goes. It's very exact and specific. Once reach level 70, you can just respec to COC if you have the currency. Otherwise, just progress on with your map on whatever you need here. Just more HP is enough, because what we're going to do is we're going to level up with Vortex and Cold Snap. I think this is a very popular build this league, and I've tested it myself. No doubt it is very, very strong and very easy. Okay, so based on the POB, right, we have a mapping DPS of about nearly 7 million, okay, nearly 7 million. That is on the low budget, and that to me, right, is quite ridiculous. It is more than my Karen Golem, okay. It is way more than my Karen Golem, and it's quite crazy. And if we were to fight, let's say Shaper, okay, Shaper, this is gonna be my DPS. And I do not have frenzy charges when I fight Shaper or Guardian. So we have about 2.9 M DPS. Okay, let's just take it as 3 million DPS. Okay, so to me, right, 3 million DPS is actually quite high already. If you're gonna fight all these kind of bosses, it is sufficient to do it. But like I say again, when you do the actual thing, it might feel different. It might have a different concept or different method of fighting it. It all comes down to how much you know your boss mechanics and how you're gonna be able to dodge them, and the timing that you are being allowed to attack them. Okay, so I really can't say for now, but I'm just gonna test it out first. And yeah, there is one thing that I'm very concerned with the build is the initial crit. So one thing that I realized after all my times I've played COC is how much the initial crit is going to affect you. So let's just say, right, let's just say if I have one power charge only, okay? Because starting you only have one power charge, right? Okay? And one power charge with, let's say, no diamond flask, we're gonna have 55.58% base crit, okay, with just one power charge. That makes a lot of difference, because in our skill, right, I actually use increased critical strikes. Okay, so there is many debate on this, and I have just realized that this is really important for a low budget build, because if I do not use this, right, look at my base crit, it's 33%. That is super low. Okay, that is very, very low. Even with the diamond flask, right, and maximum power charge, let's say 0, I can hit about 70% crit. Yeah, but 70% crit is really not ideal of what we need. That's why increased critical strike chance, comes in. And if you were to see the effective crit, right, let me find it here. Okay, it's supposed to be more. I do not know why is it like that. I will go find out again before I release the POE. It is supposed to have about 100% increased critical strike chance cap, like over cap by about 100% more. Okay, that is ideal because there are certain mods or certain monsters that have lesser, that will give you lesser crit chance and stuff like that. Okay, so this is how it goes. This is a level 93. Of course, there's a progression towards level 95 as well. And the skill gems are all here. We're going to use double ice spear on one cosplay and our main body armor. So main body armor, of course, is still the ice spear. And then one cosplay is going to be another ice spear again, because we're just going to focus on single target damage. Okay, that is the most problematic part when you are fighting all the chunky rare monsters or very beefy bosses. And then the other one, right, I have actually intended to use Ice Nova for faster clearing, because Ice Spear only shoots straight ahead, forward, and there is really nothing much we can use when we are killing mobs around us. So I decided to use Ice Nova. Creeping Frost is not going to work because we don't want to be stepping on the chilling area. Freezing Pulse is possible, but I just prefer Ice Nova because it's 360 degrees. Okay, and Arcane Surge is, of course, for the Arcane Surge buff, which gives you more spell damage. And the rest is just the general aura plus movement speed, your Vortex debuff on Hex Touch and Frostbite, and then CWDT, cast when damage taken, level 1 and level 3. And the last one, I actually use Cast on Death and Porter. There is other things that can be replaced over here, but I'm just lazy, man. If I die, I don't want to walk back all the way. I just want to keep going and keep going. Okay, and here is the leveling stuff. Skill gem. After Act 5, you should try to have all this. Okay, so there is 6 skill gems over here. I've labeled it as the most important from top to bottom. Of course, if you have 4 blue, you can always swap like this. Take Elemental Focus instead of Swift Affiliation. It's definitely fine, no problem. And if you are going to play this on a fresh new character and you somehow have a tabula rasa to bring you through the X, you can just put all of this inside. Okay, no problem. And the items that we are going to farm along the way, of course, is a double cosplay. Okay, just for efficiency purposes, I just don't want to go with the shield because double cosplay is just going to allow me to cast all my shits faster. Okay, and oh yeah, something I forget to mention is that I am not going to use Ice Golem because it is really annoying when it dies. And I don't want to put on my cosplay because it's going to reduce my damage, and casting the summon Ice Golem is going to be very painful because it costs lots of mana. Okay, and yeah, okay, so moving along, the items that I'm going to buy that is important is cosplay and Devoto's Devotion. I don't think this is expensive at Lixart, so it probably costs like what, 5 chaos. The most expensive one probably will be the Replica Conqueror's Efficiency, because you can only get this from Heist, right? And there's a very high chance that you cannot get this on day 1. So if you are not able to get this, and you're gonna have mana problems, because on the rings, as you can see, I have the bench craft non-channeling skills have -7 to total mana cost, and that is why my Ice Spear, right, is at 15 mana cost only per each Ice Spear. If you're going to use a normal one, it will be 24, and I guarantee you that you will not have enough mana to cast at the maximum potential. So if that's the case, right, then you'll probably need a mana flask, okay? And the mana flask, right, will need to have the enduring modifier. This. Okay, this is really important. And what you're going to replace this is definitely the sulfur flask. So yes, you're going to lose quite a bit of damage, but this is for you to maintain and sustain until you have the proper equipment or gear. Okay, and if somehow along the way I manage to kill Shaper and it drops a Dying Sun, right, it's going to increase my damage by a lot. Okay, let me just show you. Look. Okay, so if I'm going to equip Dying Sun, right, my DPS is going to increase by 8 million. That is like a whooping 1 million plus difference. That is really a lot just from one flask itself. Okay, so other than that, just use all magic flasks and everything should be fine for now. Yep, and this is how it goes. Some of you might be asking me, how do I get frenzy charges? The answer is over here. Okay, 25% chance to gain a frenzy charge when you shatter an enemy, and that is why I included this on the list, because this is your mapping DPS. And when I'm fighting the boss, Shaper Guardian, I remove the frenzy charge. You can see the damage difference is really a lot. Look, it's about 1 million difference. That is really, really a lot. So unless the boss spawns like monsters for you to kill, then you will get these frenzy charges. Otherwise, I think it's not really reliable to take this. 3 million is more than enough. Okay, and if you're fighting against Cyrus, there's not much difference, so I'll just leave it here. And yeah, this is how the build goes. For those of you that really need a proper user-friendly leveling guide, right, I've written it all over here. Okay, level 1, what should you get? What should you link? All the way until Act 4. Okay, and Act 5, stuff that you will require for you to progress on for the rest of the acts is all here. Okay, stocket colors like I mentioned here, blue. I have one like blue green. Yeah, I'm trying to make it as user friendly as possible, as simple and easy as possible, so that it doesn't get too complicated, you know, cause I understand that sometimes it's really, really very hard to get the very specific socket colors on your equipments. Okay, and so yeah, there you go. This is the POB for it. Okay, and before I end the video, right, I just want to mention that all the upcoming videos I am going to showcase every single thing from scratch. So probably I will split the video, let's say maybe from Act 1 to Act 5 is going to be episode 1, and then Act 6 to Act 10 is going to be episode 1. So yes, the video is going to be very lengthy and long, and some of it might be boring. So if you are a new beginner, you are learning the game, you are trying to understand the game, I highly recommend you to watch the video, from especially the progression from the acts. You know, you can always just look at it slowly. You don't really have to watch everything. So like when you're taking meal breaks on the public transport or whatever, just put on your earpiece and hear it slowly. Okay, it may not be the best, it's not perfect, but I try to cover everything as much. And of course, if I lack something or there is something better that I can do or can be done, you can always let me know so I can improve it. Okay, lastly, for all of my recordings or episodes, I will only try to focus to play for about 3 to 4 hours, and this is to showcase the realistic progression of it, because I understand that many videos out there might show you that, you know, it's awesome, it's really good and fast, but in reality, right, that's always not the case. It might end up in a different direction that was not intended. Some of you might have regretted that, oh no, I should not have followed this guy's build, because what you see might not be what is actually the real thing, right? So technically, right, if you are a working adult, you don't really have much time to play unless it's the weekend, and provided you don't have wife or girlfriend duties like me, and that is why I feel 3 to 4 hours is the ideal time I would consider to be normal. Like, even from the perspective of a student, 3 to 4 hours of playing time, I think should be sufficient enough, right? It's good enough to distress. You still have to get your homeworks done and all of the homeworks that is needed to do. Okay, so don't play too much as well. And yeah, do look forward to all my upcoming episodes. Okay, if there's anything you would like to comment, feel free to write in the comment section below, or you can also hop over to my Discord channel hideout and let me know. It's basically a chat channel for casual players to mingle around or ask any questions. Okay guys, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!